y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the summer seasonal box. This box will be on sale starting on July 2nd all the way through July 9th, only for while supplies last. It will be available exclusively on TurtleTootsiePolishes.com and will retail for $35 plus shipping. It was sent to me for review, and I'll link all of the maker's social medias and storefronts down below. So I'll go ahead and get right into it. So first up is Coral Island by Colores de Carol. This is described as a bright coral pink with a blue shimmer and blue sparks in it. So this is a very bright neon pink. It does have a good amount of that blue flash in there. It is a little bit subtle on the nail. It also looks like it might have some super tiny micro iridescent glitters. So I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Coral Island swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. This polish is a little bit on the thicker side, but it's definitely just the way I prefer it. It goes just where you put it, no pooling, no running, or anything like that. One coat made for pretty even coverage. I did still have a tiny flash of nail line, so I'll let that dry and then show you how it builds up with a second coat. So here's a look at my second coat. I didn't need to go in for a thick coat or anything like that. This one is easily opaque in 2 easy coats. This also has maybe a tiny amount of texture, nothing major all going on here, but a good top coat is going to help bring out all of that shimmer and protect the wear time. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a glossy top coat. So super bright in the sun, that flash of glitter is a very subtle but beautiful accent. This is my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Beach Hopping by Anchor and Heart Lacquer, and this is described as a bleached neon green with iridescent micro glitter and blue shimmer. That blue shimmer is just as awesome on the nails as it is in the bottle, and on this bright green base is just to die for. So I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Beach Hopping swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. This one again does have a bit of a thicker formula, but this is more leaning towards the sides of being a crelly. So this first coat goes on nice and smooth, really evenly, but a little bit sheer. So I'll let this dry and then show you how it builds up with a second coat. So here's a look at that second coat. I am going to go in with a little bit of a thicker coat with this polish just to help build up that opacity. 2 coats brings this one really, really close to being fully opaque. I think it's going to be down to personal preference if you prefer this at 2 or 3 coats. It's hard to see on camera because it wanted to kind of flash out that neon green base, but I did have a little bit of nail line. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it builds up with a third coat. This third coat I went in for just a nice normal coat, not too thick or too thin, but it did bring this one completely opaque for me. That blue shimmer is a little bit hard for me to catch on camera, but it is definitely there and super insanely bright. So here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats underneath my artificial lighting before a glossy top coat. Here's a view from another angle and kind of overcast lighting. Again, I had a really hard time picking up that shimmer. This is my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Blue Lagoon by Turtle Tootsie Polishes, and this is described as a teal cream holographic polish with aqua microflakies and sparks. So this is a very gorgeous teal polish. That holographic linear effect is a little bit on the more subtle side, especially on this super bright base, but it is gorgeous. I'll go ahead and show you that brush shot, and I'll show you how Blue Lagoon swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. This polish is super easy to work with, not too thick or too thin. It just goes on really nice and smooth. It was a little bit sheer here, so I'll let that dry and then show you how it builds up with a second coat. So here's a look at that second coat. I am going to go in a little bit thicker here just to bump up that opacity quicker. I think that this one is completely opaque in just 2 easy coats, and it totally reminds me of like shimmering seawater, especially in the sun. So I'm kind of in love with it. I'll go ahead and show you that completed mani. This is at 2 coats before a glossy top coat, so this one does dry down fairly glossy. Of course, I do recommend your favorite glossy top coat to help bring out all of that holographic glitter and extend the wear time. So here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with the top coat. This is my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle again in that direct sunlight. So lastly today I have Tahitian Treasure by Polish M, and I do believe that this is my first Polish M polish. This is described as a grapey purple cream with a blue to gold duochrome shift. So of all the polishes in this collection, this definitely has the strongest shimmer in it. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Tahitian Treasure swatched on my natural nail. Here's a look at that first coat. Again, this one goes on nice and smooth, really easy. It was a little bit sheer here, but it made for a nice base. So I'll go ahead and complete this coat, let it dry, and show you how it builds up with a second coat. Even though this had a ton of shimmer in it, I didn't really notice any brush stroking or anything at all like that. So if that's an issue for you, this is one that you don't have to worry about that with. So here's a look at that second coat. I did go in for a little bit of a thicker second coat, and again, I think this one is going to be down to personal preference or application method. At 2 coats, this one was right over the edge of being opaque for me, so if you go a little bit thinner, you may need 3 coats. Here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a top coat. This is my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So that does wrap up my swatch and review of the summer seasonal box. This will only be available July 2nd through the 9th or while supplies last, so I definitely recommend checking that out. If you'd like to see more photos, I do have those available on my blog at sloppyswatches.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.